He arrived at the airport early, pulling a sleek black suitcase and holding his passport firmly in his hand. Like any other traveller, he was excited for his trip, though his expression showed focus as he checked the flight board. The destination? An important meeting that could change his life. As he approached the ticket counter, he had already decided. He wanted the comfort of a first-class seat. After months of hard work, he felt he deserved it. But what should have been a simple transaction was about to turn into an unforgettable experience. "Good afternoon. I'd like to purchase a first-class ticket for the 3 p.m. flight," he said politely, with a confident smile. The attendant, a blonde woman with a professional demeanour, glanced up, scanning him briefly. "Are you sure you want first class? It's quite expensive," she replied, her tone teetering on condescension. Surprised by the comment, he chose to ignore it. "Yes, I'm aware of the cost," he answered calmly. She hesitated, typing slowly on her computer. The tension in the air was palpable, but he remained composed, unaware of the storm brewing ahead. "I'm sorry, sir, but it seems we're out of first-class seats," the attendant said, her face suddenly expressionless. He noticed something odd. A woman next to him, who had been behind him in line, had just purchased a first-class ticket without issue. "But I just saw you sell one to someone else," he said, confused. The attendant stammered momentarily, suggesting there might be a system error. The discomfort in her voice, however, hinted at something deeper. He took a deep breath and decided to press further. "Is there an issue here?" the supervisor asked, his voice carrying authority as he glanced between the man and the attendant. The man calmly explained that he was trying to purchase a first-class ticket, but had been told there were no seats available, even though someone else had just purchased one moments ago. The supervisor turned to the attendant, who now looked visibly uncomfortable. "It's company policy not to disclose details about sales to customers," the supervisor said evasively, avoiding eye contact. The vague explanation only fueled his suspicion. Something wasn't adding up. Determined to get answers, he asked again for the availability to be checked. "Could you verify again, please? I'm confident there are seats," he said, firmly but respectfully. The attendant typed hurriedly, her face showing impatience. "As I said, sir, first class is fully booked," she replied, almost cutting him off. He couldn't let it go. Her tone and the way she looked at him felt like more than just company policy. The seeds of suspicion grew stronger in his mind. Was this about his race? "Excuse me, but I just bought a first-class ticket, and they didn't say anything about it being sold out," the woman interjected, her voice clear and firm. The attendant seemed startled by the remark. The man turned to her, grateful for her support. "Exactly what I was trying to point out," he said, now directing his gaze at the supervisor. With a witness questioning their actions, the atmosphere grew even more tense. The supervisor cleared his throat, visibly uneasy, and asked both to wait while he double-checked the system. "It seems there was a misunderstanding, sir," the supervisor began, but his tone lacked conviction. He explained that first class was nearly full, but there might be last-minute cancellations. His excuse didn't hold water. "Then why was someone else able to purchase a ticket immediately?" the man asked, his voice now firm. The woman nodded in agreement. "This is unacceptable," she added, crossing her arms. It was becoming clear that something larger was at play. The man resolved to dig deeper. "Please remain calm, sir," the supervisor said, signalling to the guard. Moments later, a tall, imposing security officer entered the office, surveying the scene. "What seems to be the issue?" he asked firmly. The man exhaled deeply, his frustration evident. "I'm being denied the chance to purchase a first-class ticket despite available seats. This feels like discrimination," he explained. The guard glanced at the supervisor, who avoided his gaze. The tension was palpable, but the man stood his ground. He wasn't backing down. Outside the office, the growing crowd murmured with curiosity. "What's going on in there?" one passenger asked. Another replied, "I think it's some kind of discrimination issue." Several people had their phones out, recording the unfolding scene. Among them was a young man narrating the situation for his social media followers. "This guy is just trying to buy a ticket, and they're giving him the runaround," he said. The passengers' interest in the incident added pressure to the airline staff. The man inside the office could feel their support from a distance, and it strengthened his resolve. The truth wasn't just his fight anymore. It was everyone's to witness. "Excuse me," said the man in the suit, stepping through the crowd and into the office. "I couldn't help but notice what's happening here." His polished demeanor and confident tone immediately commanded attention. He addressed the supervisor directly. "I've been a loyal customer of this airline for years, and what I'm seeing is deeply concerning." The man in the suit turned to the discriminated passenger. "What exactly happened?" he asked. The man explained the situation calmly but firmly. After listening, the suited man nodded and introduced himself. "I'm a lawyer, and I specialize in cases like this." His presence shifted the balance of power, and for the first time the airline staff seemed genuinely uneasy. "Let's have a look at that booking system," the lawyer said, his voice leaving no room for negotiation. The supervisor hesitated, but eventually turned the screen toward them. The truth was undeniable. There were still multiple seats available in first class. "Care to explain this?" the lawyer asked, raising an eyebrow. The supervisor stammered, muttering something about a system glitch. But the man had heard enough. "Belgare Selenti. So it wasn't full, as you claimed," he said, his voice steady but laced with frustration. The evidence was now indisputable, and the passengers watching from outside knew it too. The tension in the room reached a boiling point, and the supervisor had no more excuses. The security guard shifted uncomfortably, now realizing he had been drawn into a situation that wasn't what it seemed. He glanced at the supervisor, silently questioning his decisions. "What do we do now?" his expression seemed to ask. The lawyer noticed this hesitation. "Officer, I trust you're here to ensure fairness, not to enforce discriminatory practices," the lawyer said pointedly. The guard nodded slowly, stepping back slightly, signaling that he wouldn't interfere further. The man felt a small but significant victory. The tide was turning, and the airline's weak facade was beginning to crumble. "This is unacceptable," one woman shouted, her phone camera pointed at the office. "Why does he have to fight just to buy a ticket?" another passenger chimed in. "I fly with this airline all the time, but I've never seen anything like this. It's disgraceful." The videos began circulating online with hashtags like discrimination in skies and equal rights trending within minutes. Then, the murmurs of dissatisfaction turned into open condemnation, and the airline staff outside the office struggled to maintain control. The man inside could hear the voices of support, and for the first time he felt like the fight wasn't just his. It belonged to everyone demanding justice. "I need to call my manager," the supervisor said, breaking the tense silence. He quickly dialed a number, stepping out of the room to speak privately. The man and the lawyer exchanged a knowing look. "They're scrambling now," the lawyer said, a faint smile on his lips. Outside, the crowd continued to record and post updates, ensuring the airline couldn't sweep this incident under the rug. When the supervisor returned, his demeanor had shifted. "We'll resolve this issue right away," he said, though his tone lacked sincerity. The lawyer leaned forward. "Resolving this isn't enough. You owe him a formal apology and an explanation." The man nodded in agreement. It wasn't just about the ticket. It was about accountability.